We're looking at the question that has the table with one of the titles being choir practice. Go ahead and write, are you reading closely and looking? And let's circle the question mark and go back to the beginning of the sentence. Put your finger on what? It says, what is the relationship between the dates of choir practice and student council meetings? So now that we have that read, cross out the R and the U, and let's read the details. It says, the table below shows the relationship between the dates students attend choir practice and the student council meetings in the month of January. So here's our table with our titles. Let's circle our titles. Our titles are next to each other, so we're going to need to be finding the relationship of the numbers that are next to each other. Let's go ahead and circle our first pair of numbers that are next to each other, 7 and 14. Let's circle some clues in the question before we keep going. In the question, I can circle a relationship. That's what I'm doing, is finding the relationship between the dates of choir practice, that's this title, and student council meetings. That's this title over here. So this one's going to be a little bit easy. We're going to choose the answer choice that describes what the relationship is, going that way or that way. Let's start with 7 and 14. Let's start by drawing our dots. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. Now let's draw 14 dots. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14. Now that you have your dots, we know that the student council side has more dots than the choir practice side. What we want to know is how many times bigger is 14 than 7? So now we have to make our groups. We have to make groups of 7 since that's a small number. Let's make groups of 7 over here. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. How many groups of 7 did we make over here? We made 2 groups of 7. So how many times bigger is 14 than 7? Well, it's 1 time, 2 times bigger than 7. Since we're starting with our small number and heading over to our big number, we're going to make our arrow point to the 14. And since 14 is 2 times bigger than 7, we're going to write times 2. Let's sing the 7 song until we have 2 fingers to see if our answer is 14. 7, 14. Is that true? Yeah, it is true. Now that we've drawn that picture, I don't have to draw any more pictures. All I have to do is double check to make sure that all of my other pairs have the same relationship going to the student council. So let's draw an arrow going from the 9 to the 16. Let's sing the 9 song until we have 2 fingers. Let's see if it matches. 9 times 2. You got 9, 18. Oh, it doesn't match. It says 16. Since 9 times 2 isn't 16, then that means that we can't multiply here. So grab your eraser and erase this arrow that says times 2 and erase that arrow that says times 2. Oh, we're going to have to try again. So think about, what is another operation that can make 7 into a bigger number? Add, subtract, multiply, or divide. Well, multiplication didn't work. And since multiplication didn't work, we can't divide. The operation that makes numbers bigger is addition. So let's draw an arrow over, and let's see what we can add to 7 to get to 14. You can use your fingers, you can use your brain, or you can use these dots. Remember, it's kind of like this table right here, and since we can't pick up the yellow ones and put them over on the red side, what we can do is we can cross off this one and that one, this one and that one, this one, that one, until we have all 7 crossed out. And now that we have them all crossed out, let's look to see how many more are on the student council side. Well, there are 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7 more. Since there are 7 more, we're going to put plus 7, because when you add, you get more. 7 plus 7 is 14. So now let's see if the relationship is true for the rest of the numbers. Let's start our arrow at the 9 and let's point it toward the 16. Let's see if 9 plus 7 equals 16. Start with the 9 in your brain, say 9, hands off, and now count on 7 more. 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, 16. It's a match, it's true. Put your dot at the 11, point your arrow toward the 18. Let's see if 11 plus 7 is 18. Start with the 11 in your brain, say 11, hands off, and count on 7 more with your fingers. 12, 13, 14, 15, 16, 17, 18. It's true. Put a dot at the 19 and point to the 26. Put the 19 in your brain, say 19, hands off, count on 7 more with your fingers. 20, 21, 22, 23, 24, 25, 26. That's true too. So now we know our relationship pointing that way is plus 7. So now we have to look at our answer choices. A says the student council date plus 7 equals the choir practice date. Which one came first for A? Well, student council. So let's circle student council. And I'm noticing that in answer choice B, C, and D, student council also comes first. So let's circle student council. And let's put a dot over where it says student council. That's right here. Since our dot is right here, that means that our arrow is going in the opposite direction of the arrow that we made. So don't get tricked by questions. That's why it's important to see which one comes first, because it could be the opposite of what we found. So now we have to find the opposite of plus 7. What's the opposite of plus 7? Well, it's minus 7. Find the answer that says minus 7. It's not A, it's not B, it's C. Let's put an M. Let's check D first. It's not D, it's not plus 2. The answer is C, minus 7. Before you move on, I want to teach you another strategy called the substitution strategy. If this doesn't work for you, you can also just focus on each answer choice. And every time you see a title, you can cross it off and substitute it with a number, like this. The one that comes first in A is the student council date. So because that's a lot of words, I'm going to cross off the words. I'm going to cross off student council date. And I'm going to go to where it says student council. And I'm going to fill it in with the first number that's there, 14. I'm going to replace the words for symbols, like plus. I'm going to cross it off, and I'm actually going to write a plus sign. I'm going to cross off 7 and just copy it up here, because I like numbers and symbols. I'm going to cross out the equal sign and write equals. And since this is my other title, I'm going to cross off where it says the choir practice date, and I'm going to go to where it says choir practice, and I'm going to copy down that first number that's there, 7. Now I've turned this word sentence into a number sentence, and my number sentence says 14 plus 7 equals 7. Is that true? No, that doesn't make any sense, because when we add these two whole numbers, it should give us a bigger whole number. So that's why A is still wrong. And if you go ahead and do that for all of them, you'll find that C is still the answer.